Hello guys and welcome back to the next lesson of the amazing programming language C Sharp course from A to Z for Learning channel. This is Nazar Alwatar with you with the next lesson about programming language concepts. Today we are going to learn new things about and the new terms about C Sharp programming language. Today we will move forward and we will take another step to be closer to writing a very complicated applications using C Sharp. Today we are going to talk about variables and how could we declare a variable in a correct way according to C Sharp conditions. But before talking about variables and about declaring variables, let us talk about the variables in general. As we have mentioned in the earlier videos, variables is just locations that hold values for you. So we could think about these memory locations as containers or boxes that may include or may hold anything, but this anything should match with the size and the shape and the type of that container. For example, if you have a basket and this basket has the ability to hold some apples or orange juice, but same basket will not hold a liquid for you. So we need to be careful about storing our stuff inside these containers and inside these boxes. As we have mentioned, we need to put something that match with the container type. Therefore, we have many types of variables. It is not one type, but we have many types of variables. Maybe you will ask me, so why they didn't make it like one type and they made it as many types of variables? And I could answer here, because we have many different values and we have many different operations, and these operations may need in some times very complicated operations like many calculations, like calculating a huge amount of money, like storing some double values or converting some long values to integer. So all these values and all these operations needs to be done on these values, and so as to avoid making mistakes. For example, if we are going to store an integer value, it is different from storing a float value that has many numbers after the comma. Now, after we have understood about variables and about the types, let us go and start creating our first project to talk about variables. So open your Visual Studio and go to File and the new project, and then name that project like first variable, and also be aware to choose console applications and to see your locations so as not to store your application or project in a different location. Click OK, then Visual Studio will build your applications. As we always saying, we need to put the cursor between these two curly brackets and then start writing in this block so as to start execute your lines of code. At the beginning, we need to know that C# has a very restrict conditions about declaring variables. At the beginning, you have to put the type of that variables. You cannot declare variables, then you will put the type. No, at the beginning or at the first, you have to put the type. For example, if we are going to declare integer or float, so we need to put that type at the beginning. We cannot put the variable name, then put the type. This is not the correct way. So we need to put the type like integer, and then we need to give the variable name that we are going to declare it here. For the variable naming, we have also some restrict conditions you need to follow. You cannot overcome or exceed these conditions. For example, your variable should start with one of these conditions. Number one, your variable may start with the letter. As you can see here, I can say my variable, and I can initiate these variables with default value or initial value. For example, I can give this variables like the number 9, but I still get like warning in the error list window because I have declared this variable, but I didn't use it yet. So the Visual Studio will give you a warning that you have declared a variable but you didn't use that variables. So why you are going to declare a variables that if you are not going to use it inside your program? I will write one line of code just to remove the green line. Okay, as you can see here, the warning is gone. So this is the first condition. Your variable should start with a letter. You cannot start your variable with number. If I want to do like this, even if I have put the number 8 at the beginning of my variables in the declaration and in the right statement to print these variables, still get some errors about that. So I cannot start my variable with a number, or I can start my variables with underscore. So I can put underscore at the beginning of my variable name, but I cannot use hyphen because this is not allowed. Also, I will get some errors about this type of declaration. Or I can put the character. So I can start my variables with characters. Or if you want, you could remove the and start your variables with a capital letter. That will not make any error, but you have to be aware about using the same letters. So you cannot use, as you can see here, you cannot use a capital letter with the declaration, but you are going to use a small letter with the writing or inside your application. This will be a mistake because names did not match, because Visual Studio Compiler will consider these are two variables. So as you can see here, I got a green line. That means I have declared a variables, but I didn't use it. But here I got a red line because Visual Studio think that I am going to use a variables without declaring that variables and without giving any specific value for that variables. So I need to make the name match so as to remove the error message or warning message from Visual Studio. So all these things you have to be aware of them when you are going to declare a variables and when you want to use variables. And in the next lesson we will see what is the basic types and what are the literal types and what is the complex types. The C# is going to deal with it during this course. So we have learned about variables and about the conditions that we need to follow, and we need to know about declaring variables and using these variables inside our programs or inside our applications. Okay, we have done here. See you in the next lesson to learn about the basic types inside C# language. Goodbye.